All right. Welcome to the world according to Jackie Simmons. How are you? I'm John Crocker. I am, of course, here with Jackie Simmons. Special guest with us today. I already know this is going to be awesome. Kohdi Rayne is on the world according to Jackie Simmons. Kohdi, how are you, man?
I'm so very well. So very well. Thank you so much for having me. I love being here. And the world is very interesting according to myself. Jackie, I know your world is obviously different, but we're all being impacted in very interesting ways. So I'm really excited to be here and kind of share my perspective on where things are nowadays.
Well, I knew that you would do that. That's why I wanted you on the show, because I wanted the world according to Kohdi Rayne, because you're dealing with a world that is very different than mine. You know, I'm swimming over here in the world of the woman entrepreneur and all of the things I do there, and in the world of my nonprofit. And then you're out doing something that is so necessary. And we're going to get everybody there. But here's the deal. I read a book a long time ago called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
You wrote a book, and it's The Hitchhiker's Guide to what?
To video marketing.
Video marketing. Okay. All right. So for those of you listening on the podcast, you're going to miss the visual. But for everybody else who's seeing this, let me tell you what. I am super excited, Kohdi, because the Hitchhiker's Guide to Video Marketing is an amazing tool for a lot of people. And guess what, everybody listening? You guys get to opt into this and get the hitchhikersguide.net is where you're going to want to go. So if you're driving around, don't worry. This one's simple. The hitchhikersguide.net. And Kohdi, what are they going to find when they land there?
Well, once you first get there, I am giving away free training. So regardless if you decide to opt in to the actual course, the actual training, you want to get your hands on the book and the guides and all of that stuff, I'm doing free training. It's actually, I think I have close to 2 hours of training on there before you even make a decision. Most people don't even need to make a decision like that. They just see all the testimonials. They see everybody going, hey, you know, I got 12,000 views on my first video and I've never touched any video platform before. And then they grab their copy. And so worst case scenario is you get a bunch of free stuff, right? You get to hang out with me, right? One-on-one. I'm going to teach you the psychological elements that drive social engagement. I'm going to teach you some really cool camera tricks, how to keep people engaged and keep them moving and keep them actually, you know, taking action, really interested in everything that you've got, regardless of your message. And the coolest part about it is I understand that there's so many different walks of life, just like you and I, Jackie, totally different planets, yet we still need the same tools. And so I have curated an experience for video marketing that will work for anyone. As long as you've got some time, you want to understand not just yourself, but people, but you want to get into the technical aspects of really getting your message out there through video, then that's the place to be.
All right. How to get your message out through video. So here we go. Step one, how to get your message out through video. Decide that you're willing to get in front of a camera. That's the world, Jackie. Okay. What's step one according to Kohdi?
Step one is going to figure out what it is you exactly, why are you there? What are you looking to do with the power you're about to be given? Because the reality is all of us have a message. We've all got something to say. And I always say this, if only 1% of the population was interested in what we had to say or who we are, what we've done, that's 70 million people that didn't know they needed to hear your message. And so we look at that and go, okay, well, what do I really want to say? Am I looking to make money? Am I looking to impact the universe? Am I looking to just share a thought? Or am I looking to build a business? Doesn't matter what it is. It all comes down to authenticity and messaging. What is your story? Who are you? Why is it important? How do you get people to fall in love with who you are before they finish your video and things like that? So once you figure out why you're there, then you can figure out exactly what your necessary steps are. And this is important because there's 3 things you need to be successful at anything you do. You need to you got to be working on your mindset. You got to look at things in a different way, right? In a positive, healthy growth perspective. You've got to be good at something. You got to have specialized knowledge. You've got to have the message. You've got to have something that, or know something that other people don't, right? This is going to give you authority. But more importantly, what the guide does is it gives you the blueprints. It lets you know what your next steps are. And when you follow these steps, that's where you get the results that you're looking for. It can be short-term or long-term. Either way, you're learning. And as you learn, you're growing. And as you're growing, you're starting to understand the amount of power that you actually have simply using video.
Got it. All right. Power using video. So the 3 things, and I wrote them down. One is a positive, healthy growth mindset.
Yes,
all right.
ma'am.
So if you're listening to The World According to Jackie, we kind of assume that you're looking for that if you don't already have it. So I think you're good there with my tribe. So the knowledge, specialized knowledge, this stumps a lot of people. Kohdi, I'm going to ask you, is it possible for somebody to not have specialized knowledge?
There's a possibility, but it would have to be an extreme environmental, it'd be like an anomaly. Jackie, it doesn't matter who you are. You've got something to teach, and I've got something to learn. I don't live in your world, so therefore it doesn't really matter. I don't live in their world. They don't live in mine. This is my perspective. These are my understandings. More importantly, these are my interpretations. So I always say this: if you give someone, that's in a poverty-stricken situation, right? Even someone who's desperate, if you give them a blueprint and they use their specialized knowledge, they'll find the mindset to get creative and find success. It doesn't matter. So specialized knowledge is you're really just looking at yourself and going, what is it that I have to share? What is it that I know? What have I done that I can share with the world? More importantly, what can I do either physically or verbally or whatever that I can monetize? What can I make money from? What can I really provide to someone right now with what I have that someone is willing to pay for? What kind of problem can I solve with exactly who I am at this very moment?
That's a really, really good place to start. Okay. If you want to know that you have specialized knowledge, all you have to do is look at the problems that you've solved in your life for yourself or others. You learned something in that process. That's your specialized knowledge. Okay, we can check that box. All right, so we got mindset, because people don't listen to this show if they're not into some kind of attitude adjustment, because that's what I do best. I adjust attitudes. So, oh, by the way, do you know that was what we called it before somebody came up with the word mindset? We just called it having an attitude.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I believe that. That makes absolute sense. I think mindset and headspace, or nowadays it's more headspace. What kind of headspace are you in? What's that cloud? Doesn't mean it's a negative cloud. It could be, I love clouds. My name is Rain. I love the cloud, right? So you bring that in and you go, what kind of cloud am I working in? Is this helping me elevate, or is it literally raining on my parade? Depending on where your mindset is, it changes the way we perceive the information. Therefore, we take action or we don't. So attitude, absolutely understand that correlation for sure.
Cool. All right. So you're not raining on your parade. We got your headspace in a good space. And now you know where to find your knowledge. Your specialized knowledge exists in your own experience of the problems you've solved for yourself and others, the obstacles you've overcome. All right. So now we got those 2 checked off. The third part is knowing the steps. This is all the information they're going to get on your website. So we're done talking about the Hitchhiker's Guide. If this interests them and they want more about it, they can go to the hitchhikersguide.net, grab all your free stuff, start their journey. All right. Now, that helps everybody in the world according to business, in the world according to video, and video is king. I mean, it really, really is. I've been a broadcast radio show host. Video, hands down, is killing it. And so that's why I was like, okay, we're going to have this conversation. But what created you? Where did your specialized knowledge come from? Take us on the journey into the world according to Kohdi Rayne.
That's a great question, and I love it. And it will stem from the statement that we've all heard: Jack of all trades, but master of none. Okay. The sad part about that statement is there's more to the statement It's just we haven't been told that part. It wasn't until I was 32 that I heard the rest of that statement and then realized that I had been kind of beating myself up for all the cool things I know how to do. Because the reality is, yeah, the end of that statement is, first off, it's jack of all trades, master of none, but it's better than the master of one. So being good at a whole bunch of different things is better than only being great at one thing. That's the only thing that you're really going to be able to, do when you really think about it, right? So this is, for instance, my father can build a house, but he can't build a home. If he was good at both, it'd be a different situation. So for me, growing up, I was one of those people who were constantly looking for attention. And this is because of my home life. So I got into climbing trees. I got into mountain biking and rollerblading and sponsorships and snowboarding and skating and blading and all of these things, breakdancing, even still to this day, right? Then I got into art, and I even got a scholarship for the Art Institute of Los Angeles, Santa Monica. And, all of these different things growing up. And this is because I was trying to figure out what it is that I like the most. And in my head, I'm sitting here going, I really enjoy everything equally. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm not a boring person, so I'm always entertained.
That's true. You are not a boring person.
So when I think of those things, and I go, okay, well, I put a lot of practice. It could be something simple as spinning a pen right here, but I'm actually practicing multitasking, right? So exactly. So I'm sitting here and I've got these tools, and I'm positioning myself to learn faster, to learn more accurately with these random things I want to do. And so throughout my life, you push, I don't want to say push the boundaries, but you experiment with different things. You really look at these things and go, if I can do this, then I'd love to do that. Maybe I'd be interested in it. Now, this is going to come back to my upbringing. I didn't really have parental guidance. So a lot of my decisions were based on my understanding of life and my interpretation of what the consequences may be. So this is once again how my liver ended up failing, at 32. So, bad decisions, horrible circumstances. So for me, it just comes down to really looking at what's most passionate and what I really, really, really love. Where can I honestly express myself? And this is a quote from Bruce Lee. It's the honest expression of self. That's how he relates to Kung Fu and martial arts. And a lot of different celebrities, they take on that same concept and go, how can I be the most authentic version of me? Right? Mm-hmm. You've got to stop caring about what other people think. You've got to really start paying attention to who you are. And more importantly, focus on who you want to be, the type of person you want to be. And so for what I do with people is I look at them and I say, this is exactly where you are, given your circumstances, given where you've been. This is where you want to be here. We need to shorten that gap. Mm-hmm. And the shorter that gap becomes, the more confidence you get, the more real you get, the more authenticity just pours out into the universe, the more you attract, the more risks turn into opportunities, mm-hmm. the more steps you take towards exactly what you want. This helps you really figure out what it is that you'd like to do on a daily basis, or even for work. It really doesn't matter. So my personal journey has been all over the place and based on that life experience, but looking at it in retrospect and going, I made these decisions because I feel and connect these things together. If I like spaghetti, I probably like shoelaces too, right? So when you relate all those things, you're able to really push your own boundaries and experience life, which is, I've got a lot of life experience.
Yeah, and we all do. That's the one thing we all have in common. We all have a lot of life experience, and the perspective that you have that most people don't have is that you've deemed it all valuable. But that was because you got the rest of the story on, because I'm a Jackie of all trades. I mean, they call me a gypsy for a reason, and it's not just location, it's also interest. So jack of all trades, master of none, that's better than being a master of one. Yep. And I love that journey. It is, a quote from my favorite author. My favorite author wrote science fiction, a guy named Robert A. Heinlein. And in one of his books, he says, my kids, and he was talking about they could do this and they could do that, and they could quote Shakespeare, and they could make a saddle starting with a dead mule and not much else, and they could do this. And he says a human being is supposed to be multifaceted. Specialization is for insects.
Right.
And I was like, well, there we go. I don't want to be a bug. So I'm just going to let myself explore these things. Right. It is the attitude of it being an experiment, Kohdi. That's, I think, part of the energy that you bring to the party that is so special is you make it safe for people to just be who they are, right, and to take and experiment. What other people would call taking risks, right, is not risky with you. It is just an experiment. If you like this, let's find out if you like that. I mean, how easy is that journey for people when they can come out of it being risky?
100%, absolutely. And I love that your ability to take one of my thoughts and one of our thoughts and then go, let me condense this into an easy. You were like the queen of taglines. It's just let me sum your whole life up in one sentence. Right? I'll save you. It's so beautiful. I love the way you do that. It's so great. Thank you for doing that. I'll even relate that. I'm a deep thinker, not by choice, but by environment. I really want to understand people, right? I really want to understand why people do what they do. Given where the world is right now, everyone's making very interesting decisions, right? So a lot of them are unhealthy. And what I've noticed recently, it doesn't matter what platform I'm on, is that people are looking for a safe space. And one of the things that happens is I notice that when you provide a safe space, not even saying it to someone, not saying, hey, you're in a safe space, it's okay. That actually gets people to tense up. But when you deal with them and they feel through the time spent together that it's okay for them to be exactly who they are and there's no judgment, then their body opens up, their mind opens up, those bottlenecks kind of crumble, and they start to realize their own strengths. And that's by letting go of certain things, including seeing things as risks. Because the reality is either you're winning or you're learning. And if we're always learning, that means we're always making moves. We're always moving forward. And sometimes we just need those things to be played out in us and go, wow, I really did do that, huh? Yeah, you did. You did that. And then when you allow that to seep in, then you start to go, I am good at this. Absolutely. And then what can we do with it? Let's take it to another level. Right? Super fun.
Super fun. All right. Now you said something earlier and I'm like, it's an open loop. We're going to close it. There we go. Yeah. By the way, for those who have not had any kind of public speaker training, you probably know what open loops are, but you may not know that's what they're called. An open loop is when you start a story and then you say, but we'll finish that later. And now somebody's going to hang around because they want to get to the end of the story. So I don't tend to use those because I find them kind of mechanical. But I think naturally the human brain produces them. You produced one totally. I know this was not your intention because you don't know what's coming. Here we go. Kohdi, you said people have to decide what type of person they are. Give us an example. What's a type of person?
I want everyone to look at the people they're surrounded by. Look at the people that they're most influenced by. The people they hold to a higher light. And this could be themselves as well.
Okay.
And go, is that the type of person, is what that person does or what that person stands for? You don't have to be this celebrity. You don't have to be this idol, or they don't have to be. It doesn't have to be a professor. It could be I idolize the kids sometimes. I'm like, I wish I was that free thinking. I learned how to be a kid by hanging out with kids. Part of my success is due to acting less like an adult all the time. So I look at all these things. You look at the people around you and you look at what is getting your attention. More importantly, who's getting your attention, right? And you say, they're doing it right. It's, they are, everything that they do is in motion. It seems like they have direction. That's the people that we're really attracted to, is the people that actually are moving forward in life, because it's something we all want. We We don't like to stay complacent. We're just good at staying complacent, or This is one of those things. So
Hold it. That's quotable. We don't like to stay complacent. We're just good at staying complacent. And I'm going to put it, we don't like to stay in one place. We're just good at staying
Absolutely.
in one place.
And even I battle that sometimes. I know I've got stuff to do, to where the point where I go, I have so much to do. I'm not sure if I want to lie down or I want to sit down, but I've got a lot on my plate right now. And so when you really look at defining yourself as a type of person, I like to look at things as, I like to define myself as a servant leader, because I'm not here just to lead. I'm not here just to be an example. I'm here to empower other people to be leaders. I breed leaders. And the only way that I can do that is to, first off, do it myself, so I have the absolute understanding, right?
Step one, go first.
I've got to do it. But more importantly, I have to put my team before my own growth at this point, meaning not sacrifice myself. I mean, as a servant leader, I'm there to serve them and make sure they have the tools, and I give them my time, and I give them my energy, so they can grow into leaders, so they can servant lead their own teams. So I look at all these different people and go, for instance, if you've never heard of him, he's like the godfather of the internet marketing game, Frank Kern. Frank Kern just resonates with me. I can have a conversation with him and never say a word. He is just so incredible in the way that he connects with human beings. That's the type of person that I want to be. I want to be able to sit in a room with someone feel like, that's a good guy right there. It's good. I don't have to say anything. I just feel it. I know this, right? That's the type of thing I want. Then I look at, Sam Ovens, another mentor, and I say, that man right there has the business aspects that I really, really enjoy. I really enjoy learning from him. I like his material. I love the way he presents himself. He's got the interesting confidence, and he's got an accent. So maybe that's what it is. Do I want an accent? I'm not sure. Right. So I'll just put something on, try and figure it out for now, but I can't do, So,
no, that's not your accent, honey.
See, I'm born in Bakersfield, right? So it's interesting. And so you look at the people that you are influenced by, or you'd like to be influenced by. And then you say, these are the types of people. And my big one, and this happened through my liver failure as well, when you're in the deepest, darkest moments of your life, and you have to make a choice on, are you going to be your own motivator? Are you going to listen to family? Who are you going to listen to? Who's really going to help you see the big picture of the possibilities in life? Who is anyone doing that for you now? And if they're not, that's something to think about. But Gary Vee was the biggest at that time. He was the big picture guy. He still is. He's the one that's teaching you to fall in love with the process. When I started to realize that my health is a process, then I started to realize that my business is a process. My communications are a process. My results are the results. My results are the repercussions of that process, right? Yeah. So I see these things and I go, these are the types of people that I want to be, I want to represent. More importantly, I want those people to be proud of me. I want to look at them and then have them turn around and go, you know what? You fit in right here. I go, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I've worked hard because I care about me. And I want to see people succeed, and I want to grow, and I'm in that healthy place. And that's really what it's all about, in my opinion.
Well, there we go. Choose is really what I'm hearing you say. That it's a conscious choice first to look at who's already influencing you. Who are you already being influenced by? And then to start really going, who do I want to be influenced by? That's almost like asking, who do I want to become?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And for those of us who never figured out what we want to be when we grow up, or who we want to be when we grow up, because I still haven't figured that out yet. Yeah, I mean, just saying. For those of us who didn't go that conscious route, when you start to say, oh, wait a minute, I can become a type of person that I'm proud to be. And one way to do that is to pick, they used to call it pick a rabbit, pick a role model, pick someone who's running faster than you are in the direction you want to go.
Yeah.
And do what they do. Hang out with them. Listen to how they talk. Listen to how they describe their world.
Right.
And just sometimes you could be chasing one of these rabbits and pass them. You know,
Absolutely.
we can outgrow our mentors. Don't be afraid of doing more. Yeah, you've never outgrown a mentor, I could tell.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You know what? That's a really that was one of my first pivotal moments, because I used to, you know, I'm into fitness. I take care of my body now, right? And so I look at these gentlemen who are teaching me how to lift and how to do these things and how to eat right and all that stuff. And then I realized that that I have surpassed their own growth, which was my first thought of going. The only thing different that I'm doing right now is I'm showing up every day. Like, I'm here. This is a part of my lifestyle. Where these guys over here, I won't see them for weeks. Well, I can see the results. You're not getting any. Where I'm moving forward to, you used to be the guy I looked up to, and now we're just friends, right? But it's humbling at the same time. And I was talking about this last time. When you really want to figure out, like, not just who you are, but more importantly, who you want to be, there's two things. You want to look at your situation, yourself, where you are, how you feel about you right now, and go, what do I not like, right? It's easier. It's kind of like, think of it like a sandwich. If I said, Jackie, what do you not want on your sandwich? Well, I don't want sand on my sandwich. I don't want, is there going to be, I don't want rocks, right? I don't want old cheese. You know, there's so many things you do not want on your sandwich. So when you put those things down and then you look at your sandwich, you're like, oh, this sandwich is perfect. Oh, it just needs a little bit of this. It just needs a little bit of that. Oh, I would just add this. You relate that back to yourself and go, oh, I just need to be more confident in this area. Let me work on this. Or I just want these things, right? Let me work on that. And my question to everybody is, would you hang out with you? If it was just you and you, would you have a good time? Not because,
there you go.
Because keep in mind, knowing everything about another person isn't always fun, right? It's not always a good time. Right? There's a lot of clashing because there's no creativity. There's nothing there that's going to spark something new. You were the same person. That's your twin. It could be fun. It could be easy to hang out with them. But when you look at yourself and you go, would I hang out with me? Absolutely. Right? I think it'd be a good time. I'd hang out with me. I'd chill. I'd spend a couple hours at least. And that's how you kind of figure out which direction you want to go with yourself.
Okay. So for anybody who knows me, you know I'm not leaving that alone. I'm going to put my take on this, because there were moments in my life where I could not look in the mirror and see my best friend looking back at me. I didn't know that I could make different choices, that I could choose to become someone else. That I could, not at someone else per se, but choose to become another version of me. And that journey that you invite people to go on, when you first take a look at your life and go, would I want to hang out with me? I want you to say, even a little. Because if the answer is completely no, then I want you to do some intervention. All right. If you get a complete no, when it's would I want to hang out with me and the answer is no, you need intervention. At that moment, go find somebody to say, tell me one good thing about me. Sit down with yourself and write down, what's one good thing about me? You have to start with just knowing one good thing about yourself. I don't want to leave anybody potentially looking in a mirror from the energy that I was in going no, because if I leave them there, Kohdi, it's not pretty. So the assignment is, before you go look in the mirror, before you ask the question, would I want to hang out with me? Sit down and write down what's one good thing, one thing you like about yourself. And if you can't find one, you can go ask somebody. Go ask a friend, go ask a family member. What's one thing you like about me? I will guarantee you, everybody you know will be able to find one good thing they like about you. Absolutely. Then you can decide that, yeah, you want to hang out with you and Now, what else do you want? What do you don't want? What are you going to take away? What do you not want on your sandwich? Love that. Now.
Love it.
What do you not want on your sandwich? And then what do you want more of?
Right.
If they're willing to ask those questions, Kohdi, their lives are going to change.
Absolutely, 100%. Like that's the reality. You know, you want to become the best version of yourself. We really don't understand that I am not the person. Physically, I'm the same machine. I'm the same entity. But that person over there wouldn't hang out with this person. We're not the same person. I would look at the old me and go, whoa, that guy would make those decisions. I'm so glad that I'm not that guy. I'm not that person. I've been there, right?
Yeah.
Because of that, because I grew through that experience, I'm able to go, I am in such a good place right now. This is amazing. And so I love, and what happens with that, honestly, Jackie, is you end up inspiring yourself. You become your own motivator. You rely less on other people because you're going, I'm rocking it right now. I'm taking care of me. And I'm always saying, it's like, it's okay to be selfish as long as it comes from selflessness. And vice versa. You've got to take care of you so you can be selfless, right? Really get humble, figure out what you like, you know?
All right, here comes your tagline. You got to take care of you so that you can take care of others.
100%.
Yeah, that's your tagline.
Absolutely. And that's the truth. And I help people do that. You know, I enjoy it. It's kind of my thing is I want to empower people to be able to take care of themselves. Everything else is really external. When you think about it, it's like, Jackie, I can take care of you. What do you need? Okay, you need this, you need that. Can I battle whatever it is that you've got going on? No, that's your experience. My experience is objective, right? So I like to empower people, to battle those demons and to get through those things. Can't save anybody, but I love working with people that are interested in saving themselves. Right?
There we
show you how to
go.
use these tools, and let's move forward together. That's that unity and strength and power. And when you become self-empowered, think of yourself like a solar panel. Everywhere you go, you're constantly recharging and you constantly got energy to give off. That energy attracts more energy, and you really, really love the person that you are. Because after time, when you stop paying attention to it, you realize that you are the person that you've wanted to be. You look in that mirror and go, I don't recognize this person. Is this the same person? I don't feel it's the same. I think we have the same eyebrows, these caterpillars right here, but this is a totally different entity. I've leveled up. I've really taken my mind to another level, and we really just don't see it. It's interesting the way our brain will prevent us from doing the things that are necessary.
You know, I just got an image in my mind of one reason why humans struggle with this when the other animals in the animal kingdom don't. And it's because when a snake levels up, it outgrows and literally sheds a skin.
Mm-hmm.
When a crustacean grows, it has to go from one shell to another shell.
Look back and see it.
Leave. You know, the challenge that humans have is that you can physically, like you said, you got the same eyebrows. Mm-hmm. You know, you can physically sometimes go, well, I'm still the same person. And the reality is you're the same person. You're not the same version. Mm-hmm. What do you want to live into? What's the next version of you going to be that is moving you in the direction of your best? You don't go from where you are to your best. Your best is always the next one. Yep. You know, we don't get there. Never. And that's the other challenge about being human. But, you know, we're the only species in the world that limits ourselves. You know, even a tree, a tree doesn't get up to about, 5 foot and go, I'm good. I'm done growing.
Right.
I mean, anything in nature grows and expands. Anybody who's ever had goldfish knows. They grow to the size of the bowl they're in. They will take all the space. And humans don't do that. It's been conditioned out of us and it's not the current education system. We're not going down that road. It is simply the human condition that we have self-limits. And it's a good thing in some regards, but let's make it work for you.
Absolutely.
You know, let's make it work for you. To self-limit the things you don't want on your sandwich, and let's become limitless with the things that you do.
100%. Absolutely. I want everyone to remember that you do not have to focus on the things you're not good at.
Amen.
Triple down on the things you are good at. All of those other things will fall into place. Because honestly, like even at you're like, I don't like this and I don't like that. And like, okay, cool. We'll recognize it. Don't work on changing all of these things you hate about yourself or feel you do. You're actually just putting energy into the things you hate if you really think about that. Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you look at the things that you love about you and then you put your energy there, you're putting your energy into the things that you love. That is going to breed change. That is going to adjust the way you feel about you. Wait until someone looks at you and goes, are you the same person from last week? I'm glad you asked, because nope, right? Not at all. It's really interesting when other people get to see the energy. And we're always going to be our worst critics, right? It doesn't matter how much, I'm always, even though I get fit, I'm still pointing out all these things. And I'm like, oh, why? I'm conditioned to do that. That's just a part of who I am. I have to accept it. I know why I'm doing it. Do I enjoy it? No, it's actually really frustrating. But I know it's happening. And that's part of the new person, opposed to going, why won't this work? And get frustrated. And why? Man, it's because I like pancakes. That's why I have this gut, you know? It's fun. Self-growth is fun. It changes your everything. It changes your life. The second we stop growing is the second we start dying. I know what it's like. I've been on my deathbed. I know what that feeling's like. As peaceful as the process is at that moment, I never want to live it. It's not, no. You want to live your life. You want to experience life. You want to experience it to its fullest, to the best of your capacity. Sometimes your purpose is just to develop the tools so you can experience life for what it is. Do those things. I guarantee you will find exactly what you're looking for. You get good at anything you practice, including taking care of yourself.
There you go. You get good at anything you practice, including taking care of yourself. That's a wonderful message. You know, I can't think of anything better than that, other than if somebody's been watching, if somebody's been listening and you want to know more about Kohdi Rayne, you want to know more about what his programs are, etc. We talked about the video thing at the beginning, but for the whole enchilada, we'll go from sandwiches to enchiladas. Here we go.
Nice.
Be hungry. Yeah, we'll just for the whole thing. We'll make it a Dagwood. Everything that you could possibly want to know about Kohdi Rayne, they can find where.
They can. Well, first off, you guys can come follow me. I'm over on Facebook. Facebook.com/Kohdi Rayne, KOHDI KOHDI. You can pretty much Google that and you'll find that's just me. I'm one of the only people with that, which is why I went with that name. Really not hard to find. One of my latest endeavors has been really expressing myself in the shell that I'm in right now on a platform called TikTok. TikTok is so fun, Jackie. You would love it too, because it's the algorithm. The way that platform is designed is to bring out your inner child. It's to help you. Absolutely, and it doesn't have anything to do with ages or anything like that. I am constantly down the rabbit hole of watching professors and teachers and life coaches and mindset experts and architects and just artists. The most amazing people I've ever seen that are constantly supporting each other. So if you ever need a pick-me-up, you ever want to work on you want to see the real, authentic, creative, just interesting, funny, weird version of me that you don't get to hear right now or see, then you can come check me out on TikTok, and that's also Kohdi Rayne. On YouTube, Kohdi Rayne, everything is Kohdi Rayne. And then if there's anybody that's interested in working with me one-on-one, if you can hear me, you see me, and you go, that's the type of person that I'd like to learn from, I'd like to hang out with, I could spend an hour with him, then you can check me out on themantisprogram.com, right? Click that qualify link, jump on the calendar. What I'm doing with everybody right now is, Jackie, we were talking about mindset, blueprints, specialized knowledge, the three things that you need to find success in anything that you do, right? Specifically in business or in life.
Yeah.
I am giving away about $4,500 in material. It's the 8 most important documents I wish I had when I first started my journey to self-growth, as well as my journey to building numerous businesses online. If I had these documents, it would have shaved years and years off of my process.
Yeah, that's really what it's all about. When we talk about sharing your specialized knowledge, you actually do that, Kohdi, better than most people. That's why I was like, oh yeah, you can come talk on my show about this, because this is your walk.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Specialized knowledge. One of my favorite things to do is working with someone and then showing them what they're good at, and then like really showing them what they're good at. Because I know people who did not know that they were professional copywriters until I asked them to rewrite this story. Say, hey man, what's your take on this? Then they did this over here, and I'm like, you understand that you just destroyed every copywriter that I've ever met. This is amazing. I don't even want to know how you did it. I just want to pay you to do it, right? So now this is a professional copywriter. That's what he does, right? This is someone who is a mindset coach that just needed a little bit of dialing in. Now they're a consultant, right? So working with someone and having someone really see you for who you are, but more importantly, what areas you can work on or work with to move you forward in the direction that you'd want to go. When that happens, everything changes for the better.
Everything changes, and we are not meant to go through life alone. We are not meant to go on our journey from who we are to who we want to be alone. I did not get to host my own radio show, stand on a TEDx stage, or write books without having had people who supported me along the way. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So you've got your list. You've been talking about Frank Kern. You've been talking about Evans. Yeah, I've got my list. And everyone has been influenced by someone. Your joy, Kohdi, is when you get people to see that they can choose who influences them. I mean, if there's one message that you have from everything we've talked about today, in my mind, it's choose who influences you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jackie, you and I are both influencers. Choose us. We're here. This is what we do. You are important to us. We want to see you succeed. More importantly, we want to support your success. I love when people are going, this is my mentor, Kohdi. This is my mindset coach. This is my business coach. I'm just like, I thought we were just friends, right? That's the reality when it comes to growth. Depending on who you're influenced by, not just, you got to keep in mind, I'll say this because sometimes we kind of get lost in it. It's not really about who you want to be influenced by. When you're creating structure, you want to realize how you want to be influenced. Where do you want to be stimulated? How? Because there's a lot of people that have really bad energy that are saying the same things. So this is why it's really important. The more you understand you, the more you design your sandwich, the more you know who you want to share it with. Yeah, you can have a life, right?
Yeah, let's bring it down to brass tacks and put a nice little bow on this.
Yes.
When it comes to a sandwich, it's not just you want condiments on it, but it's also what is it that's going to feed you versus something you might be reactive to. Because you're right. The words in this day and age are not the truth. It's not the truth of who someone is by what they say. That's not how you find out the truth of who they are. You find out the truth of who they are by the energy. How palatable is their energy to you? So someone can say exactly the same thing that I've said. They say there are only 6 original ideas and they were all said a millennium ago or more. Yeah. The rest of it is all about our unique perspective, our take on it, and it's about energy. So yes, you are going to choose who influences you. Choose wisely. Get to know them.
Absolutely.
All right. And on that note, we're going to call this one a wrap. Thank you for taking us on a journey into the world according to Kohdi Rayne.
Absolutely.
I just love
you
you.
so much. Jackie, I love you. Thank you so much. Seriously. It's such a pleasure. Every time we get a chance to hang out, it's just your ability to, you got to keep in mind, I see you as a mentor. I'm learning from you. Every time we get a chance to hang out, I'm going, she's teaching me something. And I want to lay this out. If I was not in a healthy place and I wasn't ready for growth or wasn't interested in growing, I wouldn't see the lessons that you're sharing with me today. So it's so beautiful and humbling. And I cannot thank you enough for having me here. It really means the world to me.
Thank you for being here, Kohdi. It's so much fun. So thank you all for spending some time in the world according to Jackie. And now go do you. Go spend some time in the world according to you. Be the best you can be today. And we will be back. Thank you.